Yeah, so it was fun to kind of not play into stereotypes, and it's about damn time.
Holidays in between. And we did we took holiday in the middle of it.
About 10 holidays. I'm a money grabber. I've got dirty hands.
There are more important things going on here than you're aware of.
You're in the big league now. It's about the end game. And the million different ways you might not survive it.
I was watching this show yesterday and it's excellent, but it's also one of the most stressful shows I've watched in a long time. It was unbearable in a really great way. What was it like to film this? Did you have to psych yourself up? Did you need a holiday afterwards? What was the experience like?
Holidays in between. And we did we took holiday in the middle of it.
About 10 holidays during this.
It was exciting actually. It's exciting to be a part of something that feels as thrilling as that and as kind of high pressure and big. It felt, especially that first episode and a lot of those big there's a lot of big moments throughout it, and all of those things, they felt so exciting to be a part.
Yeah, I think genuine fear is one of the most difficult emotions I would imagine as an actor to convey. Do you have to work on that, separate from when you're then filming? Is that something that you kind of have to run through? I don't know if you're looking in the mirror and you're like trying to convey genuine. Yeah.
Can you imagine? No, not doing none of that.
I mean, I have to say, I think the performances that were turned in by the guys that we were supposed to be fearful of were genuinely so scary that I don't think I really had to act, especially Andrew. I mean, he was terrifying. And also, the scene where the heist actually takes place, we didn't rehearse it. It was all genuine reactions to all of it. We hadn't seen the gunman, we hadn't seen the prosthetics, we hadn't seen how they were going to act, where they were going to shepherd us to within the office. And so it was real for us.
Yeah, wow, that's fascinating. So you genuinely didn't know how that was going to play out. You were just told, we're filming a heist scene today, be prepared. And then they just laid that all on you guys.
Well, we knew lines, we knew our lines. We knew the general kind of feel of the scene, but we didn't know where the gunmen were going to be, if they were going to be pointing guns at our heads or not. We didn't know anything.
And they improvised a lot. There was a lot of improvisation. So it felt very fresh and new every time.
Yeah, wow. The prosthetics are genuinely harrowing because obviously they look like real people, but then you look a little bit closer and they just look really off-kilter and strange, hated their faces. Well, we find out that Zara and Luke, they're not the most... they're morally bankrupt people, you might say. Initially, that's how it's kind of portrayed at the start. They're not just innocent victims. They are certainly in on it. I'd love to get your responses to that twist because I didn't see it coming, and maybe I'm just really naive and I just get led along, but I was like, oh, wait a minute, she's smiling in the toilet when she can hear those people having a conversation. I'd love to get your responses to that big reveal.
I mean, that's what made me sign on to the show. Reading that first script and then seeing the end, I just thought, oh wow, this is going to be hard to pin down. And this is going to be a really fun character to play. And then, episode 2 comes around, then you realize this guy was in on it too. And I just loved it. I found it totally fascinating and exciting to, have everybody in this show kind of be morally grey and everyone is, you're constantly guessing who's done what and who's up to what and who can we trust and who can't we trust, and it just keeps you on your toes at all times.
And it's funny because obviously you are both playing roles in this show. You are Zara, you are Luke, but then also in that initial scene they're also playing roles as well because they're pretending like, oh my god, what's happening? I thought that was really interesting. Is that a hard headspace to inhabit because you're on sort of 2 levels as performers in that moment as well?
Well, it's just the reality of the scene, the reality of you know what the reality of the circumstance is. You know that okay, there's a certain thing rehearsed or spoken about how this would go if and when it happens, and but then all of a sudden it becomes it spirals out of their control. It becomes a lot bigger than what they'd spoken about. It feels scarier, and actually when push comes to shove, they realize they're actually not cut out for this. They've done something that they potentially immediately regret. And, you know, for Luke, that's very obvious. He kind of doesn't handle it very well and buckles under the pressure. Thank God Zara is able to hold him up and hold the situation up.
Yeah. But also there's like, you know, as much as it's been planned, these guys come into the office and they beat up their colleagues. Like none of this is part of the deal.
Yeah, we're so surprised, yeah.
And I don't think we even know it's, I don't remember anything.
My character knew the amount.
Your character knew the amount, mine didn't.
Interesting what you were saying there about Zara trying to keep Luke on an even keel. I think maybe sort of 10 years ago, it would be the other way around. It would be the male character being like, calm down, hysterical woman, whereas she's very much like, you need to get a grip. Did you find that interesting as well, that it was Zara sort of taking the lead in that way and she's being decisive and telling him to just calm down, get your head in the game?
Absolutely. And I think it's so, I don't know, I just love seeing movies and TV shows where it's not the woman asking, what do we do now? All the time. You know, it's nice to have the man asking for once.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was fun to kind of not play into stereotypes, and it's about damn time.
Exactly. And obviously this is the second time that you've played a thief, so to speak. I know you were technically, but what do you think that says about how casting directors are viewing you?
I don't know, I guess I'm a money grabber. I've got dirty hands. And I don't know why they cast me in things like this, because really I'm a goody two-shoes and I follow the rules.
How do you think people will feel at the end of this series when they've seen the lay of the land, the full picture, they know what, you know, who everyone is, what their agendas are? What do you think their responses will be?
I actually don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. Everybody is morally ambiguous, and whether or not if people are able to understand their position, feel bad about the innocent victims, like there are so many ways in which you can go. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how different people respond to it. But I think that's a part of the genius of the writer.
Yeah, but I think it is going to be like, when it ends, a bit of, I don't know, emotional whiplash. I think it's just going to be a bit of a, what the just happened?
And not tied up in a neat little bow, I'd imagine, because that's not true to real life, right?
Yeah.
I think people are going to be figuring out how they feel about it for weeks after it finishes.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And did you read about any real life cases where things like this had happened, just to kind of root yourself in that world and how it might play out and what might happen as well?
Well, these things are happening constantly.
Yeah.
Like these things are happening every day. I've got a friend, Marcus Hutchins, who works for a big kind of anti-hacking firm, and he is constantly stopping these things happening online. He stopped the malware tech hack years ago from his bedroom, and ended up being like an incredibly famous hacker for that reason. But he. These things happen on a daily basis, you know, and so it's just a world that's like living under the surface that we're just not all privy to.